Hey everyone, Sparks back with another Goddess Victory Nikke video, and it is Rosana's Chic Ocean skill time. Now, I actually was about to upload my Sakura skill analysis that I just did live on stream, and then this dropped. So we're getting them a little bit out of order. That's okay. I had to talk about her after her skills were revised anyway for Sakura. So anyway, keep an eye out for that. That video should be out probably when you're watching this video. So let's take a look at Rosana. This is the waifu that we're all most excited for, right? Or at least me. Like, I want that MLB wallpaper. That is like the highlight of the summer event. But is she actually going to be worth it? Well, she is a burst 2 supporter with an assault rifle, wind type, and her attack modifier for normal attacks is 13.6%. So this is exactly the same as Sakura. They have the same weapon, they have the same damage modifier on their regular attack, they have the same element, but Sakura is a burst 3 attacker and Rosana is a burst 2 supporter, and they have very similar kits. You can tell that these girls are meant to work together. I have never seen 2 units be released with such similar kits. Now, I mean, they're clearly different roles, and which is good because they're meant to go on the same team. But I mean, and they're not even like strictly teammates like the schoolgirls or bunnies. But they almost do the same thing. Almost okay. Anyway, let's see. Skill 1. It says activates when entering the battle. Affects all allies. Damage to parts goes up 24.26% for 15 seconds. Okay, so we're increasing damage to parts right away. So clearly she's meant to be good against bosses with parts, the same as Sakura is, and immediately we're going to increase that damage to it. Also says activates when an ally or self destroys enemy parts. Again, sounding very familiar. This is the same kind of thing that Sakura did. Affects all allies. Attack goes up by 3% of caster's attack and stacks up to 5 times and lasts for 30 seconds. Okay, so 3% of attack is not great. This isn't final attack, and she's a supporter unit, so she's going to have a lower base attack, but it does stack 5 times, so that will result in a 15% increase of attack, which is pretty good when you're considering that every single unit on your squad is getting that buff. That said, remember, this only goes off when you destroy parts, which is the same kind of thing that Sakura does, right? It all depends on destroying parts. Okay, so skill 2 is an active skill. Again, this is the same kind of thing that Sakura had. Her skill 2 was an active skill. Skill 1 was a passive. Cooldown 30 seconds. Affects all allies. Damaged parts goes up by 24% for 15 seconds. So we're just going to be shredding through those parts even more. Affects the enemy nearest the crosshair, deals 70% of final attack as sustained damage every 1 second for 15 seconds. Again, very similar effect to what Sakura did. Sakura is going to do more damage with the bigger modifiers and being an attack unit with higher base stats for that. But Rosana is just like a mini Sakura. She's going to be supporting that same goal. There is just like extreme synergy here. And this is going to be a lot. I mean, 70% of final attack for 15 seconds. This is a strong damage over time effect. Okay, let's take a look at her burst. Huge win here, cooldown 20 seconds. Okay, so after having some units like my girl Clay have a 40-second cooldown, it's great to see a burst 2 with a 20-second cooldown again. It gives so much more flexibility for competitive squad building. It says affects all allies. Sustained damage goes up by 20% for 10 seconds. So again, we're supporting the sustained damage of not only herself, but also of Sakura. They're just made to go together. Also says affects all enemies. Damage taken goes up by 32% for 10 seconds. Now this is a super strong ability. We've seen this before on Blanc. Has a slightly higher percentage on this. I believe she goes up to 39% of sustained damage, but that's a very useful skill. Rosana is going to be coming in with that skill, very similar to Blanc, and it's good because this is going to be good against all enemies. So just like Sakura, her burst makes her universally good, even if her other skills are like really solidly geared toward enemies with parts. Now, is she as strong as Sakura? I gotta say she's a little underwhelming compared to Sakura. I think Sakura is probably the better unit, but they're not competing against each other. Remember, I mean, Rosana is a burst 2 support. Sakura is the burst 3 attacker unit. I think Rosana, in a way is more flexible because she can support any strong burst 3 that's going to be damaging parts, be that Red Hood or even like a one-shot with Snow White, because she does have that burst that will synergize with that for 10 seconds, giving the damage taken up, along with the damage to parts. This could potentially be a really crazy Snow White team, honestly, which, I mean, I'm going to bring up Snow White, but increasing parts damage by 24%, or even stacking with her other abilities for another 24%, 50% damage up on that, and then just overall boss damage taken by 32%. And then hitting the boss with multiple parts with one shot of Snow White could be insane. She might be the new best burst 2 for a Snow White one-shot team. I don't know. Maybe that will be a really cool, unique raid team that we could see as well. I could see it. It's possible. It's only going to work for certain bosses. It would really work well for Train or Chatterbox, which are the classics ones to hit with Snow White. And I think this could be pretty insane with the damage to multiple parts. Now, just like Sakura, going back to more of a general team without Snow White, any boss that has regenerating parts is going to make her so much better. So for instance, Stormbringer will always regenerate those turrets on his wings. Every time you destroy a part, it's going to trigger again. Train also will regenerate parts with the longer battles outside of interception. You're going to keep going back and forth between those turrets. So there are other bosses, of course, with a lot of parts out there as well, but those are some immediate examples that come to mind. I think Rosana is going to be fantastic, stacking all of these effects with Sakura, but also has some great implications for other teams as well, even if you don't pull for Sakura. I don't know. I'm pretty hyped. I'm probably going to pull for both. I think she's just good enough for me to stick with the maximum break plan. I think, what are we going for here? She's like the best looking wallpaper ever, I think. All right, let me know if you're planning to pull for her, what you think of my ideas on her. Did you cook up anything cool with her? Her skills just dropped, so I don't know. Let me know what you're thinking. And I will still do a summer plan video tomorrow on like what I'm planning to do with all my resources for with pulling for Rosana, Sakura, all the mission passes, the run units for summer. There's a lot of things to consider here. Collab coming up. We got to plan ahead. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more Nikke videos and hit that like button. And I'll catch you guys in the next video or stream.